So I'm from Zimbabwe, which is in Southern Africa. So it's not like my parents really say that you have to be a doctor or you have to be a lawyer. But there was just like this like unsaid rule that, you know, everyone who's made it is a doctor, an engineer, you know, that sort of thing. So the people who I looked up to who were successful fell under those categories. So I was like, oh, okay, so that's probably the best way to go.
My mom used to work as a medical rep, and you know, as cliche as it sounds, I was this like nerdy little girl, and I would actually grab her books of like stuff that she was learning, and I would go through them knowing like 3 words out of the sentence, and from there it just kind of like stemmed an interest within just like the sciences.
My mom has so many female doctor friends that for me, when I was growing up, I always thought when someone would say, oh, like a physician or whatever, I would think, oh, like that's a woman. Women are physicians. So I was very lucky because from an early age I kind of had that representation and exposure to kind of the idea that science was something that I would be able to do.
I was always interested in animal behavior, so we had animals at our house, and I would just spend hours working with our dogs, training them, and I think my mother was the first to pick up on the fact that that was a science interest, and there weren't a lot of opportunities for girls to do science. I think there were through Boy Scouts, but like the Girl Scouts at that time weren't really doing sciencey things. And so she really worked in the community to find opportunities for me to explore science as a young child.
In like middle school, we had Science Olympiad, and so I applied to that, and I got in. So I was on a competitive team. We would like travel and just doing like different like science competitions and competing with other middle schools, and that was also like a great experience that I had, and it really was like my defining like factor. I was like, okay, I do love science, like I'm gonna do this. Yeah.
I had trigonometry, and as a 16-year-old, and my trig teacher I adored. I thought the sun rose and set on him, and I loved the class. Now, ironically, now as an adult, I hate trigonometry. It is probably my least favorite area of mathematics, but I loved the class. He was a great teacher, and I started thinking, well, if I can't be a vet anymore, maybe I could go into mathematics instead.
I just remember freshman year walking into my biology class, and there was this big, mysterious brain on the board, and I was just like, what is that? Like, I mean, you know it's a brain, but you start to develop more interest. Like, why does this part of the brain work this way? How does this impact certain organisms? And I found myself becoming really interested in the brain, and I found myself kind of rambling on to my parents and everything about the brain. And that's when I kind of knew, like, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to be in STEM. I want to make a difference through my knowledge, through science.